I just want to know, this is for all of you, if you auditioned for a role ever that you didn't get, you wish you did, like...
I believe when I was really, really young, I happened to be in more into music, like he was saying, and nowadays you don't have to be the front. I believe when I was younger, I really, really wanted to be up front. Now that I'm older, I really, excuse me, could not give a hoot. But there were times when I was really young where I believe I walked out in tears, and the girl looks exactly like you. You know what I mean? It's an identical person. And it was like for some big television show, and you came in a little drunk or a little high the night before, whatever the thing was, and she is the mirror image, and you really just lost the job. Just you flubbed the line or something. And I believe I have cried when I was very young, but nowadays I believe not. How's that?
2 roles. When I was really little, we were doing Alice in Wonderland for the school play. I really wanted to be the rabbit, but this other girl, who was my friend and nemesis, had the bunny suit, so I got to be a daffodil, and I was pissed off. The other one that really disappointed me, I was down to the wire for Heathers, and you noticed I wasn't in that one.
Actually, Timothy Hutton in Ordinary People. Although to be honest, I think it was the right casting, because I think he fulfilled the role much better than I could have. But it was between he and I, and I met Robert Redford and did the whole 9 yards and everything, but that was the one that I thought I was going to get.
Yeah, all their families were very, very famous, Jennifer Jason Lee's, and you just didn't have a chance, and it was just you and her and you and her and you and her, and her mother and father were just, you couldn't even compete.
There was going to be a movie, Casualties of War, that Sean Penn did.
Oh, yeah.
That was going to be made in the early 70s, and they wanted to have all unknowns, and I was going to do the Sean Penn role. But it was politically, it was dynamite at that point. It was too close to Vietnam, and so that film fell through. I eventually got a role in Casualties of the War and went to Thailand. And while I was in Thailand, they decided to change the entire ending of the movie, so my role no longer made any sense, so it was never even shot. But I had a great trip to Southeast Asia, but I sure wish I had done that movie when I was in my early 20s.
Still upset about it. Northern Exposure. That role of the pilot Jeanine Turner did. I really wanted that role a lot. And also, I don't know if you guys know the story, but my mom a couple of years ago sent me the script for part 3, which I had turned down after part 2. And I read it just for the heck of it. I'm just going to sit here and read it. It was so good. And I said to somebody, it was like Linda Hamilton in Terminator. I mean, it was this incredible, incredible role. And I was like, oh my God, why did I turn this down? So like today, I wish I had done that.
3 things come to mind. Let's see. Now, money-wise, not necessarily for the thing, because I had no idea what was wrong. I went to network down to it. It was between me and him, and this would have been a great financial thing. Was for Full House, John Stamos' part. We were like better than. Then there was a little film called Back to the Future that I went back with. The biggest thing that pissed me off is when I lost a role in Young Guns, because I really wanted to do Young Guns. And I think it was, I forget which the car was, the guy that spits out all the time, because I was friends with Kiefer, because I did Max Dugan with him, and I've worked with him before, and that was probably, I really wanted to do that. And I even went and got headshot shot, like full cowboy up, and like, that was the only thing I couldn't actually spend money on that one. Whereas the shit, I was so pissed. So, the end. But I'm fine now.
And even weird, I happen to
Next thing I got Back to the Future.
I happen to have run into a couple of people you're talking about that I thought I lost the job over, and I believe I might have even just seen her. Very, very strange. Creep back into your life, man, make you cry again.
This question is similar to what you had just said. Have any of you wanted to be in one of the other Friday the 13th films? That you weren't, to be like, oh, I wish my character was still alive for that one, or something like that.
talked to some of the people today about this, just in terms of, it would have been great if they'd had like a bar scene or a rock and roll scene or something, you know, some kind of a public scene where all of us came back as cameos. Not the same characters. You know, no mention of it or anything, or not part of the plot, not anything like that, but essentially all of us could have been at this event and not mention it, but everybody who goes to see these films would say, oh, look at Jeff, oh, look at Sandra, you know, that kind of stuff.
Hey, Billy, couldn't this group right here make this happen? Couldn't we get some footage going
No,
on?
no.
Let's make this happen.
No, so they called me a while back. I forget when it was, and I forget what movie to use part 2 in like part 4. I got a call, and I believe that we didn't have to go to the set. They just called me and paid me all the better to use the scenes from part 2, and it was in another part, and I do not remember which one.
I have to talk to my agent about that one.
Maybe they just called me. It's that slide in and out thing, right? Take the glory again.
Okay, we have just enough time for one more question. Does anyone have one? There's a hand, okay.
This question is from Amy. How does it feel being in that honor group of the lone female survivor in films of this type?
How do you feel to be in what group?
The honor group of the surviving female horror films like this.
Well, I feel very proud. It feels great. Are you kidding? It's really, really great. And I'm really proud. I mean, now this is hindsight, 2020. I just really love Ginny Fields. I think that was an amazing character, and I feel really grateful that I got to be Ginny Fields.
Time to turn over for the clock, and let us thank our guests, Margaret Coben, Bill Randolph, John Finley, Amy Steele, Dave KAGEN, TIFFANY HELM.
Thank you.
Hey, you guys, I want to say one thing before this is over. Thank you so much for your support. I've never been to one of these, but I will make it a point to do as many as you will welcome me to. Peace.
What I would suggest is it's getting a little warm in here. Why don't we all open the doors and let some air in?